financial year.
To make a booking, call Norma on 8259 2100.
The new Myplayford Mobile App is here. You can now stay up to date with the latest council news and info, set bin reminders, make online payments and send through your customer requests, all in one place and at the touch of a button.
Download the free Myplayford app today for your iPhone or Android device. Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our fortnightly e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people. Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth this winter. For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500. Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day, state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops, networking and training for young kids right through to adults, and the City of Playford Library. Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara. Did you know you can view your rates notice online at Playford Online Services? Simply register for an online account by visiting our website at playford.sa.gov.au and searching Playford Online Services. Once you've registered, you can request to have your rates notice delivered to your device or computer. Prefer to watch and learn? We have created some simple videos to show you how to register for an account, view your rates notices and set up direct debit. Simply search for Playford Online Services via the Playford website for more information. That website again, playford.sa.gov.au. Are you building a house or doing some renovations that require planning approval? The way you apply for planning approval has changed, along with some of the rules of the Planning and Design Code. South Australia's new planning system covering the entire state was implemented on the 19th of March this year. So to find out more, visit plan.sa.gov.au. Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment, it's the right thing to do, and it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/waste. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives. A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website.
My wardrobe in the first basket.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for His Worship the Mayor?
ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Welcome to tonight's council meeting. I open the meeting at 7 p.m. and I will call for apologies. I'm aware that Councillor Rentoulis and Councillor Ryan are an apology, along with Councillor Tame, Councillor Gossink, and I believe Councillor Halls will be attending, but will be late to the meeting, and hopefully will be here around 7:30. Are there any other apologies? We have Councillor Kerrison and Councillor Craig online, councillors. There are no other apologies. Councillors, you would be aware that under section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999, that during the annual business plan process, a council must invite interested persons to attend a public meeting to ask questions and make submissions in relation to the draft annual business plan for a period of at least 1 hour. As our meeting is open and as it is now 7:01, I will declare that item open, which is in item 11.1, a public hearing for 2022-23, and with your indulgence, I'll move that item straight forward. So we've got a number of representatives that are here, and that also allows enough time for us to continue with those representations and anyone else that may occur, but also to give the opportunity for the public part of this meeting to be open for at least 1 hour. So we commence that at 7:01 p.m. I have a number of representatives, and these are, I believe, in the order in which they have appeared by coming into council, so there's no order of treatment specifically, but can Mr Dennis Davey, are you here? Yes, you are. If you can please come forward. So Mr Davey, as you would be aware, that our code of practice for representations is for 5 minutes. At the conclusion of your 5 minutes, you may be asked some questions, so please don't vacate the podium. Your time will start when you start speaking, and I'll give you a warning at the 4-minute mark that you have 1 minute remaining. And your time will start when you start speaking, so I will hand over to yourself.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mr Green, elected members, people in the gallery. There's holes in your budget, dear Greenie, dear Greenie. There's holes in your budget, dear Greenie. There's holes. Integrity. 120 million, 118, says page 50 of the ABP. Revenue Council required is 89.1. Then it flops around between 94.5 and 90.1, eventually landing at 89.05 at the current inflation rate of 5.1. In amongst that, there are deductions of mandatory and discretionary rebates that cost the city 5.5. That's a lot of Freddie freeloaders. The employees cost 43.3, but further down 40. So does that mean you, Greenie, are working the next year for free? Materials, contracts and others, 41.2, including fringe benefits. Finance costs of 5 million in interest, but no mention of how much you are paying off the 143.3 debt, which is approximately 40 million in 4 years since I left the chamber. You're fiscally inept. Equates to 10 million a year. No side of Facebook promised 96 mil in services. Now to core business, which for years Playford seemed to think the fairies do at night. At least that has gone up a few gears. Lots of new footpaths to give gophers a smooth ride. Thanks Wazza of Broadmeadows for paths across open space. The new park in Munapara West at Peerless, you can thank the Apache, Reno Pace, for power footy tickets and a conversation between a councillor and resident to impress. On the subject of community engagement, time to take a few wickets. The yearly 1,500 community survey are the worst figures I've ever seen. What do you expect when you present like the front row at the rugby? Gee, I'm so glad I'm seen as a has-been. Nothing above 4 when it was in the high 6s. Late news from Facebook. After writing mostly at the Granville Hub about the Elizabeth CBD as of April 2022. Amazing that you have waived confidentially blurb. So what about releasing Pellegra Ice Arena 2? It, along with Marion, has recently been in the Advertiser. And as we near the annual 1st of July, when all fiscal witch hunts occur, under freedom of information, what did council pay to placate Playford's second CEO at the start of this term? There's a new playground going into Munapara Linear Park. No need to replace the speed humps on Multara Road. Encourages hoons. Lots of asphalt all over town, even in Elizabeth North and Hillbank. Can't wait to see what happens to the old bowling club real soon. The rates are to be an average of 2.85, but no figure for commercial rates. Have they reached 250% yet? But we all know of that failed past debate. Because if you think one can make a change, you might as well pull the other leg because it sings jingle bells, jingle all the way.
1 minute.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in the Playford Christmas sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Thank you, Your Worship.
You've concluded your remarks, Mr.
Yes.
Davey? Are there any questions for Mr. Davey? No questions from those on Zoom. Then thank you very much, Mr. Davey, for your representation.
Would you like a copy of this to put in the thing I gave you? No, I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Davey. We now have another deputation or representation from Mr. Peter Hoffman. Is Mr. Hoffman present? Mr. Hoffman, please come forward. So Mr. Hoffman, please come to the podium. The microphone is on. So like I said to Mr. Davey, you have up to 5 minutes. At the 4-minute mark, I'll give you a warning at the conclusion of your representation. If you could just stay at the podium as there may be questions, your time will start when your time starts speaking. I'll hand over to you when you're ready.
No worries. Thank you very much. Good evening. My name's Peter Hoffman. I've been living in the Playford area for over 40 years, last 12 years in Munapara West. My big concern is Curtis Road, and in particular the intersection of Curtis Road and Andrews Road. In peak hour it is impossible to turn right there. You know, and I'm just waiting for an accident to happen one day because people just get agitated and take desperate chance to get turn right. Myself, I'd just turn left and go up and do a U-turn and come back because it's near impossible to turn right there. You know, I'm just wondering if there's anything in the pipeline that, well, the last time I spoke to somebody in the council, that was over 12 months ago, they said it was going to the state government, and I just haven't heard anything more about it, that's all. Thank you.
We will give you an update on that shortly. You do have 4 minutes, so if there is anything else
that's
you
right.
wish... That's all you want to ask. We might ask Mr. Deneen, maybe, if you... so Mr. Hoffman, if you just want to just move away from the podium for a moment. Mr. Deneen here will provide an update on your question that you've asked. And then if you've got anything else you want to add or another question, because you've still got 4 minutes, you're more than welcome to ask some more things. Mr. Deneen.
No, thank you for the question. So annual business plan this financial year is proposing, I think, page 42, the detailed design for the intersection of Curtis Road and Andrews Road. That will be undertaken as part of the draft annual business plan. Once detailed design is resolved, then we can start to look at what construction looks like. council, between the department and adjoining landowner, is also working through the bringing forward of that intersection and those works for a set of traffic lights.
Do you have any other questions in relation to that or anything else? You're more than welcome to.
No, well, that
Answers your
gives me
question?
a bit of a answer of what I want to know, because when they start the works on Stevenheath Road, that road is only going to get worse. So, at least I've got an answer now. So there is traffic lights going to go there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Can I ask Mr. Hoffman, just hold on a minute, there might be some questions, but I do have one for you. How did you find out about tonight's engagement? Did you come through an email or community hub?
I've got an email.
Yep.
And then I just put my own comments in there.
Good, because what we'll do is
I
we'll
got
make...
a phone call from Sarah yesterday.
No, excellent. Because you've got a dedicated question and you've heard that tonight, we'll also make sure we get that in writing to you as well. So before you leave tonight, just go over to Sarah, make sure we've got all your correct details so you've got that, so you don't have to try and remember everything tonight.
No worries.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
But before you go, I think Councillor Marsh, you might have a question for you.
Yeah, thanks. I just wonder, I think, Sam, can we get an update on what the administration has done to date on Curtis Road duplication? And then can we get an understanding as well what the state government's position is on the Curtis Road, the commitment announcement that the minister did going through the election? I think that'll be the fact that this is on record and people are probably streaming in. I think it'll be fantastic to rehash over what has been happening or hopefully will happen going forwards.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Marsh. So Council for some time now has been advocating for a change in ownership of Curtis Road from the council to the state government, given that the Curtis Road serves a function in the state's road network with the volume of traffic that it carries. So we're working that process through with the Department of Transport and the Minister for Transport. You'd be aware that there was a recent state election, so we have a new Minister for Transport, so we'll be picking those issues up in due course. So that's the council's activity. With respect to the announcement that was made as an election commitment, it was to spend $250,000 doing a traffic study around roads such as Curtis Road, and I've already spoken to the Minister about that, and we'll be looking to see that activated as soon as possible as well. These are all elements that we are hoping will lead to better functionality of Curtis Road in the future, including its duplication.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your deputation, Mr. Hoffman. Is Ms. Carly Lee Cohen-Bateson present? Yeah, please come forward, Ms. Cohen-Bateson. So Ms. Cohen-Bateson, similar to what you've heard from both the other representatives this evening, come to the podium. You've got up to 5 minutes. At the 4-minute mark, if you're still going, I'll give you a warning. Please don't leave the podium. And at the end, as there may be some questions, your time will start when you start speaking, and I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. Please forgive me, I'm a bit nervous.
That's all right, take your time.
My name is Carly. I've been a resident of Elizabeth Downs my whole life. I won't say how long. I'm both proud and passionate about the Playford area. The areas and the issues I want to bring to attention in my immediate, there are only a few streets away from me, and I have lived there nearly all my life. The main issue I'd like to bring to attention to possibly be included into the 2022-23 Council Strategic Plan is Dwight Reserve and Eastern Park Football Club. It's more the reserve. I'm not sure if I think there has been talk about plans of upgrading the Eastern Park Football Club, but I find the reserve across the road hasn't really been talked about and was missed in the plan with the areas that I was reading had been included to be upgraded in the future. So the reserve is situated along Yorktown Road, on the corner of Yorktown Road and Campbell Road, which is opposite the Eastern Park Football Club. So they're right opposite each other, and a lot of people from the football club also use the playground and the reserve across the road. I have recently started playing football than the last 3 years. I did use the playground and the oval a lot when I was a child, and we also use the oval across the road for training sometimes. But just a few things I've noticed is when young children are at the playground, there isn't a lot of equipment suitable for children under 5 years of age. There's like a large slippery dip which an adult would have to climb up, and it's even too hard for an adult to get up there. There's bark on the ground which is quite large, and I find people fall over all the time at a playground, and I just find it a bit of a safety issue. I've noticed some playgrounds have shade. There is a little bench there, park bench with a little shelter over it, but in the summertime, which is usually on a sunny day is when a playground gets used, there's no shade for anyone using it. I just haven't noticed any major upgrades there in probably the last 20 years. A lot of the older equipment was suitable for younger children, and that's later been taken. I'm here tonight because I read a post from the City of Playford, obviously talking about the future upgrades, and I read on there that it was written, "We plan to continue our focus on lifting the appearance of the city with investment in renewing or replacing things we know are important to you, like curbs, footpaths, roads, play spaces, sporting facilities, and planting of new trees." And I found that this area kind of comes in line with that aim, but it was missed. This area was missed and not included. I can kind of go into more detail of issues. Like I've already mentioned, the shade. So a lot of playgrounds have rubber-based grounds lately. Also in the summertime, some of the grass has been neglected, and the weeds are quite hard in the summertime, and for little children to walk through that, I think it's just, it's not really
1 minute.
Suitable. There could also be some potential for maybe some recycling bins, some water fountains. Even during the week, on Monday I had a day off, and I noticed the car park has been upgraded there recently, and I've seen a lot of people just running, doing laps around there, walking their dogs. So it is an area with a large amount of potential that is used by the wider community. It's also on a main road, a thoroughfare road, on the way to One Tree Hill, so it's kind of, it displays the appearance of our area. Also, there's a cricket pitch on the upper oval, which is it's a cement pitch which has been filled in over with a big mound of dirt. So it's not even, you can't even use the oval to play cricket on. So it's a bit of a waste, because I think even people outside of the cricket club wanting to play cricket with their families could utilise that area. And then I've got some other things about the football club. There's only one women's toilet. We have multiple football and cricket teams, 3 women's teams, 3 men's teams. There's only one toilet for the whole facility. On the weekend, we celebrated our 60-year anniversary, and with hundreds of people there, it was quite awkward. And there's only 2 change rooms, so one for the opposition, and our club rooms are shared by men and women on a game day when we can potentially have 3 or 4 games there at times. So I just feel that there's a need.
Thank you, Ms. Bateson. You've got your 5 minutes there. Thank you very much. Now, before you go anywhere, if there's any questions, I'll get Mr. Green to provide a response. I think there will be some good news to part of the request that you've outlined today, but I'll hand over to Mr. Green.
Just a quick question.
No, I've handed over to Mr. Green to answer part of that question first. So, Mr. Green.
So there will be a bit of information coming out from the council next week around potential for a reserve upgrade, in line with some of the things you've spoken about tonight. So we'll make sure you get that information directly, but there is some good news coming on that front.
Councillor Reefing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our thank you, Carly, for the deputation. Dwight Reserve, that's in my ward, and Councillor Misty and Councillor Hall, that's in our ward. And a lot of residents have actually raised issues around upgrade of that park. Sure. Just with the grass area that you are concerned with weeds growing, is that on the footy oval? Or is that...
No, it's so where the playground is. There's a big, large oval on the upper oval.
Yep.
I mean, that grass is fairly well maintained, but I noticed when we were training in the summertime, it's kind of in front of the playground. There is a bus stop on the corner of Campbell Road, so a lot of people coming to the playground are walking across there, and there's a lot of thoroughfare walking to the playground. So there's on the other side there's a car park where if people drive, they're going that way, and it's fairly close to the playground. But yeah, on the other side there was weeds probably 20 centimetres, and me walking, I was getting scratches on my legs.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought, little kids running to the park and even playing chasey and that away from the playground. It may, I don't know what it's like now, but at that time I just thought, I remember this being really nice and green and soft and being able to run on it, and it just looks a bit neglected, so.
Yeah. Well, you will be pleased to hear that Council does have plans to upgrade that reserve, and sure. The local MP, Leo Dumolda, we've been advocating for some election commitment, and I think as Mr. Green mentioned, there will be some good news coming to the community.
Yep.
So that we have plans to upgrade that facility.
Sure, that's very good news. Thank you.
Councillor Marsh.
Thanks, Mayor Docky.
Ms. Cohen-Bates, and then might be some more questions. Yeah.
So I just want to get clarity again, because you've asked some great, and I used to live on one of those roads in Elizabeth
yes.
Downs when I was younger, so I remember playing on that field before the upgrade. But Sam, is it, because a lot of sporting clubs are asking exactly the same question as what you have asked, and that is the facilities that aren't keeping up with the standard operations, nor are they going to keep up with any growth, especially with the Women's League or various sporting codes coming through the city of Playford? And this is where our state government need to get their act together and help out local governments. So, Sam, are you able to just provide a brief on what council are doing on the whole of sports, the sports strategy, over the next whatever period is, and that will hopefully allow some members of sporting codes to go back to their club and go, there could be some engagements coming on?
Sure. Through the Mayor. So the council does have a sports grounds strategy. However, we recognise that the environment around sports is changing a lot, particularly with women's participation in sports, which is fantastic. We are going to be reviewing that strategy in the next 6 to 12 months, and there'll be a chance for clubs to be engaged in that process and give us feedback on what their needs are. We also have a team in our organisation that's fairly closely linked with the club, so we've got a fair handle on what is required. One of our challenges is that we are a large growing community, and there are a number of sporting clubs that are all competing for our financial resources to do upgrades, and we're working our way through those and trying to get our council's money to stretch as far as possible, and we do that by trying to leverage state government funding and other funding that we can through grant programs, etc. So we are aware of the issues, we are working towards it, and there will be opportunities for your club and others to engage in that process.
Are there any other questions? If not, Ms. Cohen-Bateson, if you haven't already, please make sure with Sarah, who's just at the corner there, to have your personal details. Yep. You've raised some really great points of some things you'd like to see in the park and also at the Eastern Park Football Club. So also to capture that going forward, so that we can hear from you or anybody else you may know that would be interested in providing that information. So if you could just make sure you see Sarah, so we've got all those details. Sure. So we can keep you informed, but more importantly, you can also inform us at the relevant time in the near future around some of the potential things you've talked about.
Yep. So, thank you.
No worries. Are there any other councillors want to ask any questions before Ms. Cohen-Bateson leaves? No? No, thank you. Now, councillors, we are required to call for, are there any other members of the community who wish to make a representation under section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 in relation to the draft annual business plan in their submission and hearing? Are there any other community members? not at this point. So councillors, we'll go back and run through the agenda. We will keep the item open, so if any member of the public does enter, or anybody else that wishes to make comment, or any other representative who's already made a contribution wishes to make a further contribution, they can. So we'll go to item 2 of our agenda, which is confirmation of minutes. We have the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 26th of April 2022 be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings. Moved by Councillor Onyazans.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. If I could please put additional info on the minute held on the 26th.
Yes.
So that's under number 7, under reports of representatives, conferences and training program. To note that I've also provided a report of attendance at the 2022 LTA showcase in ordinary meeting. If that could be noted, please.
Thank you, Councillor Onyazans.
And I'm happy to move the...
Yeah, we'll just get the wording of that. Does that find a seconder?
Happy to second.
Do you wish to speak, Councillor Stroud? No. Does any other councillor have any comment, question or amendment to the said minutes? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Go to item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any? Councillor Smith.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I have a direct conflict of interest in 17.2 and will be leaving the chamber.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Are there any other conflicts? Councillors, as I declared in the committee the other week, in item 17.1, which is the rate rebate report, I'm a former operational member and a current member of an organisation that is listed in that report. As it's an actual conflict of interest, I'll declare that interest and leave the room and not participate in the meeting. If there's no other declarations by members, then move on to the Mayor's report. There's a number of items for this month, such as the thank you event for our Civic Events Committee. It was fantastic to see well over 100 young people and others that had participated in our civic events over the past 12 months at the civic events to say thank you, along with the members of the committee. It was really fantastic to see. There was the opening of the Ninja Playground and community event launch at Almond Grove Estate. Huge turnout from the community and also lots of interest right across Adelaide from families that have been going there this week, which is great to see. You can take your kids out there to see that Ninja Park. It's pretty taxing if any of you want to have a go. It's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to do. I attended the Hillbank Community Childcare Centre's biggest morning tea event, which was great to have so many grandparents and family and friends supporting the Cancer Council in the community. And also this week saw coming to the end of the National Volunteer Week, and it was great to have over 300 of our volunteers attend the event where we thank them for their great service at our cinema here in the city of Playford. And it was really fantastic to have so many of them there, and also the opportunity for our volunteers to say thank you to Ms. Roxanne Withers, Roxanne Withers, who has provided great service as the volunteer coordinator for many years, and it was great to see so many of the volunteers paying their respect and thank you to Roxanne as she moves on into a different role. So that's my Mayor's report, and I'll go on to item 5, reports of representatives of council on other organisations. Are there any? No, then we'll move on to item 6, report by councillors. Any reports? Councillor Norris.
Thank you. You've actually just reminded me, Mayor, please add in the Volunteer Week thank you event as well, because I did attend that last Friday evening, which was lovely. It was really nice to see Roxanne there as well, and obviously show our appreciation. I also want to give thanks to Councillor Marsh for inviting me along to the Dalkeith CFS. It was really good to get a tour and have a bit of an insight into, how they operate and exactly what they do for our community. So I was really appreciative of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Can I just add in there that I also attended the Ninja Park opening at the Manapara West, and probably what I should have spoken about, Mayor, is regarding the Norma board. I probably just want to start to reiterate through the council that we're going to have some challenging times going forwards with the growth of our city when it comes to our waste management going forwards, and there needs to be some real heavy considerations on how we like to maintain, manage and dispose of our waste over the coming years as we grow. So it will either be the next council that will either see the closure of the Yulee Road landfill, or it could be the next council that may steer the ship in the direction of waste management going forward. So I just want to very early put it out there that some serious conversation needs to be had with how we manage our green organic waste here in our city of Playford, and how we deliver that service going forwards.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Councillor Small-Smith.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to mention the Civic Events thank you, which was absolutely well attended and really great to be able to thank all the service clubs, the guides, the scouts and all of those that helped at all our events, and it was a really, really good evening. The Grenville Centre had the biggest morning tea event last Thursday, which I also attended, and unfortunately, even though they were sold out, there were a number of people who were unable to attend due to COVID. And the Mayor's dinner at Norwood football game last Friday night, where Norwood won, just in case you didn't know.
I think that silence is deafening, Councillor Smallwood-Smith. Are there any other councillors that wish to make a report? And Councillor Kerrison.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Doherty. Just in follow-up to the council resolution last month, 4963, regarding Bathurst Spur, I'd just like to report I've had some community feedback, and it's now been found in a number of locations between Yorktown Road and Yulee Road, between Blacktop and Johnson Road, Kentish Road, Bibaringa, and also on Gorlawadra Hill Road. So it's a little bit more prevalent out there than I was aware of, and I just wanted to report that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kerrison. All right, councillors, we'll go to item 7, reports of representatives, conferences and training programs. Was there any for the month? Don't believe there was. We go to item 8, questions without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Onuzans.
Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, I have one up there. Before I put the question regarding the water catchment in Smithfield, I'd like to make a brief description of its condition at the moment. When the water level is low, especially during summertime or when there is no rain at all, it's obvious to see what's in that catchment. You could see trolleys, woods, clothing materials, bottles, etc. So the question is up there. Would like to know, the community would like to know, is there a maintenance program in place for the water catchment in Smithfield? If there isn't, will council formulate a plan for a yearly or when necessary clean-up? Yeah, I'd like to hear from someone.
Thank you, Councillor Onuzans. Mr. Blom, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, through the Mayor. Yes, we do have a maintenance program for the catchment area, and we do top up the wetlands when it gets to a certain level. You're correct, the rubbish does get thrown in there. I don't have on hand what our maintenance program actually is, but I'm happy to take that on notice and bring back a summary of the operational maintenance to Council.
That will be really great, Mr. Blom. Yeah, for the last 3 years we've noticed that there seems to be no clean-up or anything like that that's happening. So yeah, we would like to hear more about it. Thank you.
Shall do.
Are there any other questions without notice? If not, Councillor Onuzans, would you like your question recorded and the accompanying response in the minutes? Yeah. So does that find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Marsh. I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. I'm presuming no other councillor wishes to speak on the item. If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We go to item
Mayor.
9. Question. Yes,
My
Councillor.
light was still on. I have another question.
You have another question?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if I could.
You can. I did ask if there was any other questions and you didn't jump in, but I will give you one more.
Okay, this is a follow-up question on the raised question at the last council meeting on the 26th of April regarding the walking path from the precinct to John McVitie. Part of the answer said it will give consideration to the safety issues identified. I would just like to hear what does that mean exactly? Is there a plan to do something about it? What are we looking at? Is there a time frame?
Thank you, Councillor Lyons. Thank you, Ms Hudson.
Through the chair. The team are actually looking at that at the moment, so they're currently investigating both. The question last time was around what is the intention in relation to formalising that path, and also what are the what are the safety issues. The team are doing an investigation of that at the moment. I'm hoping that that should be resolved in the next couple of days.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Onyezans, would you like your subsequent second question to be recorded in the minutes? Yes, so an answer, so we'll have that moved by Councillor Onyezans. Does it find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Marsh. There's no further discussion on that for the mover and seconder or anybody else, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We go to item 9, question on notice from Councillor Norris. I won't get you to read that out, Councillor Norris, but the answer is in the papers. We'll go to item 10, petitions, which are nil. Item 11, deputations, representation. So, councillors, we still are open in relation to Section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 in relation to our annual draft business plan and the part of the public meeting. Is there anybody present who wishes to make a further representation or deputation in relation to the meeting? So our staff have just checked outside. There is nobody else. If there's nobody present, then we'll continue on with the agenda. As there is nobody present, we move on to item 12, motions without notice. Are there any motions? No. We move to item 13, motions on notice, nil. We move to item 14, committee reports. The Chief Executive Officer Review Committee, there is nil. The Civic Events Committee, there is nil. Corporate Governance Committee, item 14.1, Financial Sustainability Ratios and Targets Policy and Procedure Review and Attachments on page 7. Does somebody wish to move that item?
Move the recommendation. Okay.
Moved by Councillor Baker. Does it find a seconder?
Yes, second.
Councillor Smallwood-Smith. Does the mover and seconder wish to speak? No. If there's any other councillor wishing to speak or make comment. If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. We go to item Policy Review Committee, which is nil. Then we go to item 14.2, Strategy and Services Committee, item 14.2, Commonwealth Home Support Program Funding Agreement, 2022-23 for signing under the Council seal on page 21.
Happy to move the committee recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Strowant and seconded by Councillor Norris. Does the mover or seconder wish to speak? Does any other councillor wish to speak, make comment or ask a question? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.3, response to tree planting petition, Hollyoak Court, Hillbank, Council Resolution 4758 on page 25. Councillor Kerrison. Councillor Kerrison, if you could just take yourself off mute. You just need to take yourself off mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Doherty. I'd like to move the committee recommendation. Thank you.
Do you wish to speak to that?
No, look, I think we've discussed it. Those residents who want a tree obviously can have a tree. Those residents who are against the tree don't need to have a tree. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Does the item find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Marsh. Councillor Marsh, you wish to speak?
No, thank you.
Any other councillor wish to speak, make comment, question? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 15, staff reports. Item 15.1, Norma budget and attachment on page 28. Does somebody wish to move? Moved by Councillor Marsh. Do you wish to speak to that, Councillor Marsh?
Yeah, if I can just quickly, I'm going to deviate slightly, but this is only because of what I was talking about earlier on about the organic waste and the need to improve that in years to come. I just wanted to, lost my train of thought a little bit here. It's a question to the administration, as it's going to impact our budget in years to come with how we manage and dispose of the organic waste and just the levy in general. What's council currently got planned in the discussions of the organic waste disposal? What's council got planned so far to lead towards a solution that may or may not involve elected members?
Ms Hudson.
Through the Mayor. We have a session, an informal discussion, information gathering session scheduled for in a couple of months' time to actually talk about waste in general, including FOGO and green waste. So we'll have a comprehensive conversation with Council about all of the aspects of waste shortly.
To find a seconder, Hall, Councillor Halls, do you wish to speak?
No, not at this time, thanks.
Thank you. Any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Halls, if you can hit your button, please. Councillor Bacon.
Thank you. Just a question on page 28. It talks in the dot points that there's no announced changes to the state government waste levy, currently set at 145. Norma's budget will be adjusted in line with actual levy charges if these eventuate. Can you just explain what that possible implication that has for the three constituent councils?
Mr Green.
Through the Mayor, councillors, in the event that the state government increases the levy, then that'll obviously be applied to every tonne that goes into a landfill. That will then hit the Norma bottom line budget, and as equity owners in Norma, City of Playford, City of Salisbury and Town of Gawler will then, I guess that will play itself out in the Norma bottom line, and that'll find our budget through our equity share of ownership in Norma at the end of the year.
So have we made any possible contingencies in our budget for that?
Not at this point in time. We'll pick it up if we need to. Yep.
Does any other councillor wish to speak on this item? If not, then I'll put those in favour. Those against, I declare that carried. Move to item 15.2, budget update report and attachment on page 50. Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Smallwood-Smith, seconded by Councillor Stroud. Does any councillor wish to make comment or question? If not, then I'll put those in favour. Those against, I'll declare that carried. Now, councillors, I do need to remind you that under section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999, we have our public hearing that must be open for at least 1 hour. As the time being now 7:44, we still have at least another 15 to 17 minutes in which we must keep the meeting open to the public. As you would see, we have 2 confidential items. So obviously, if we go into confidential items, that would then close the meeting to the public, which just means whatever minutes that we have in confidence, if council chooses to go in confidence, of course, would obviously have to then come back out and wait. I did have a discussion with Mr Green earlier today, thinking that we may get to this point. It is unusual, as councillors usually have a lot of questions and motions without notice, but of course, the irony tonight, as I said to Mr Green, is that we're the night that they won't, and some of them will be extremely quiet, and we'll get to this summary. So what I'm going to do is, under item 16, we have informal discussion. I'm going to ask Mr Green to take a few moments. As you would be aware today, the South Australian Government has ceased the Emergency Management Act in relations to the pandemic. As you would be aware, that Act has had direct implications to the Local Government Act around meetings and other things that affect our council. So Mr Green is just going to provide a bit of an informal update on that and some items that may or may not need to come back to council for our consideration. So I'll hand over to Mr Green.
Thank you, through the Mayor. So yes, as the Mayor said, the emergency declaration was lifted today. which we were expecting to potentially occur next month, but it's happened now. What that means is that within 28 days, all the provisions that were associated with that will disappear. In particular, what that means for us in terms of the way that we conduct our business in terms of council meetings is that as of next month, so this will be the last month where meetings can be attended via Zoom. So from now on at a council meeting, members will need to be in the chamber to participate. That doesn't stand for committees. So when we went into the emergency declaration situation, the council resolved to update its charters on all of its committees to enable remote participation through committees. But the legislation doesn't enable the same thing for council meetings. So one of the things we will need to consider into the future, and it may very well be a topic for the new council, is moving forward whether you want to maintain the ability to participate in meetings other than the council meeting remotely using technology such as Zoom, etc. So that's the immediate impacts of today, given that we don't have another council meeting between now and when the 28 days will lapse. Just informing you that as of the next council meeting in June, to participate, you will need to be present in the council chamber. Committees at this point in time will still be permitted, will still permit attendance via Zoom. Happy to take any questions associated with that. I know we can probably all think back to when this came in. It was quite a different environment, different world then. I think we've all been expecting to revert at some point to the way that we conduct business being more in line with what we used to do. And as I said, that will definitely occur for the council meeting as of next month.
Are there any questions from councillors on the item? Councillor Kerrison.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Doherty. Look, thank you for the update. I really think that maintaining the Zoom option is very valuable. Obviously, I'd always like to be there in person, but under circumstances where people are suffering colds and flus and things of that nature, not bring it to the chamber, I think is a very, very beneficial approach. So my question to probably Mr. Green would be, what's the cost of maintaining the Zoom sessions, and is it easy to maintain?
Councillor Kerrison, great question. I might actually hand that one on if you don't mind, because I think Eleanor has more handle on that than I do, so one moment.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair, there is no additional cost in continuing to utilise Zoom for committee meetings from this point forward.
All right. Based upon that, would we be able to maintain that Zoom option?
Councillor Kerrison, so ultimately it's a decision for the council. The current committee charters do permit that. Unless the committee charters were changed, it would still be an option that is available to elected members. Reiterating again that the legislation does not permit the same attendance for a council meeting, ordinary council meeting.
All right, thank you.
Before I call Councillor Stroll, I just remind elected members under Section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 that we still have the process for the draft annual business plan, and call for are there any representations or deputations from members of the public. Our staff are just checking. We are required to do this periodically throughout the meeting to make sure that anyone who may be potentially here can have their say within the 1 hour time. There are no other members of the public, so Councillor Stroll.
Thank you. I have a question for administration. With the informal gatherings that we have in between the ordinary council and the strategic committee meeting, will Zoom still be used in the informal gatherings, or will they be cancelled as well?
Through Mr Mayor, using the Zoom functionality in the council chamber is a lot easier and a lot more effective for us. So if you think about the second Tuesdays of the month when we have our strategy and services committee meeting, and sometimes we have our information sessions after that, there would be an ability to participate similar to tonight. When we use our sessions and we do our sessions at the Stretton Centre, that's a little bit more difficult given the technology that's available. And the nature of those discussions tend to be a little bit more workshop-like, and in that respect, they really do benefit from physical attendance where possible. So certainly here, a little bit more challenging at the Stretton Centre, although we still can provide that functionality so you don't miss out. It's just a little bit more difficult to participate.
Thank you.
Councillor Norris.
I had a comment, but now I do have a question. Does council have a concern with the confidentiality with council members obviously attending on Zoom when we do go into confidence? Noting that obviously there are other members of the household that may be present.
Through the Mayor, Councillor Norris, I think that's been a concern that the whole sector had when we moved to online participation. In terms of do we have a particular concern about it, we put a lot of faith and trust in you as elected members to uphold the standards which are required of you. Obviously there's a code of conduct that requires you to keep these matters confidential. So we don't have any particular concerns, but we are relying a lot on you as elected members to do the right thing. And at this point in time, we've had no reason to think that there are any issues associated with that. But it has been a sector-wide concern along the way, albeit I think we've all become far more comfortable with the concept of utilising Zoom to participate in a meeting, recognising that your obligations to maintain confidentiality don't disappear if you're doing that.
Yep. Thank you. I guess another comment just would be in terms of that whole security thing, and I guess Councillor Harrison brought it up as well. Like, if you're unwell and you can't attend, don't attend. You shouldn't even be on Zoom. You should be focusing on getting better so you can get back out in the community. So.
Are there any other questions for Mr Green? Councillor Craig. Could someone assist Councillor Craig in getting the...
Okay, I just had to work out which button. Yeah, just a quick question further to that. As regards security, I did hear mention that Zoom, some have raised a question just generally about Zoom that it may not be a secure platform, like it can be subject to people spying on meetings that are broadcast through Zoom. I just wondered if there's any assurance we have that we have security maintained when we're using Zoom.
Yes, thank you, Councillor, through the Chair. Really good question. Just to provide some insight into a bit of the detail going on at the front of the desk in the room here, when the meetings are entered into the confidential items, the governance team lock the meeting, so that prohibits anyone from joining who should not be in the meeting. We also watch the waiting room for anyone who should not be there.
Understood, but I did hear there was some reference on the internet just about Zoom in general, that it can be accessed, by nefarious parties from China or other places, and can spy on Zoom meetings. So I just wanted to flag that as just I've heard that. So for what it's worth, whether there's consideration of that.
Thank you again, through the Chair. I do recall those particular media articles, and that was 18 months ago to 24 months ago when Zoom became the platform of choice for meetings such as this. Zoom quickly issued security patches to prevent that sort of activity happening. we receive those patches, and we also implemented controls on the operating level to ensure that we monitor the participants in the room at all times, as well as locking the meeting room, which is a feature that Zoom enabled after all of those security incidents.
I see. Thank you very much.
Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to ask if we're still going to video the meetings for the residents.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Halls. And you'll probably all recall that it was the emergency declaration that probably stimulated us going down that path. The council did resolve when it first moved into this new mode of operating that we would stream the meetings and also that a review would be taken post the emergency declaration. However, not long after that, the council actually resolved a motion to continue on with live streaming committee meeting and council meeting, and to have those meetings recorded and available to the public post meeting on our website. So that will continue on because that's what the council's resolved to do. So that won't be changed or reviewed as an outcome of the decision today by the government.
Before I call on Councillor Marsh, under Section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999, we are in our public hearing phase of our draft annual business plan. If there are any members of the public who wish to make a representation deputation, as we have about 6 to 7 minutes left of our 1 hour, so if there are any members of the public that wish to come forward, can they please do so now? If there are none, I'll call Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Ed, and thanks, Sam, for giving that brief. It's been a while since we've introduced some of those changes in the overlapping act. Also, I think it's paramount. Workplaces these days have obviously now decided to adjust their way of operating to continue a bit of a friendly lifestyle arrangement with their employees. So I think it's equal to adapt that same understanding and arrangements here in council as well, knowing that we want an array of different types of families and individuals to come here on council. So I think it's essential to continue on with how we are status quo.
Mr. Green.
Councillors, given that we've got a couple of minutes just until we close the public meeting side of things, we were preparing to bring to you an information session to talk this through in a little bit more detail. However, I'm getting a fairly consistent flavour from you tonight that you're relatively comfortable with the meeting arrangements now that we've been utilising them for a couple of years. To not want to waste our time nor your time, is there any councillor that would like to have a more detailed debate on this topic, or are you happy for us to continue on in our current mode of operating, recognising the council meeting will need to revert to being in the council chamber? There will be a new council post-November, and that council will need to decide how it wants to conduct its meetings full stop, including elements like electronic participation. So are you happy just if we continue on with our current delivery methods and leave any other decisions of that to the new council? I'm getting nods. I think that's probably helpful for us so that we don't necessarily chew up valuable meeting space in the next couple of months debating something that you're fairly comfortable to continue on with for the time being. So with that being said, we'll just consider whether there's any other related topics that we need to talk to you about, but that's good guidance for us tonight.
There's no other questions on that, councillors. I would remind everyone that under Section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 that we do have the public hearing for our draft annual business plan. If there are any community members wishing to make a representation or deputation, could you please come forward now? We are required to keep the meeting open for at least 1 hour and to definitely make sure we cover off and not have any issues. If there are no residents when Sarah comes back, Mr. Green, could you just provide for a minute or so or two on just our next steps in relation to what happens with our draft annual business plan now for anybody that may be live streaming, as in a few moments' time our public hearing submissions will close, for a public hearing anyway. Can you give us an update?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So the idea of the public hearing and the submissions that people may have provided to us during the consultation period is to obviously determine whether our draft annual business plan and budget are meeting the needs of the community. We will summarise that for you more comprehensively. My indications to date would suggest that I think the majority of our community are happy with our draft annual business plan and budget as it has been drafted. There are some more local level issues, and you heard about a couple of them tonight, that will be addressed through this annual business plan and budget process. So at this stage, we will bring the draft, sorry, it won't be a draft, we'll bring, well, what will be a draft, but of the final annual business plan and budget to you in a couple of weeks' time for your consideration. And then it will flow through to the June council meeting. And given in the event that you don't wish to make any changes to that, it'll be determined by you in the June council meeting as to whether you'd like to continue on in its current form. The session in a couple of weeks' time will be an opportunity for you to give us feedback about how you're feeling about it now that the consultation period has closed.
So, councillors, I'd really like to thank 3 members of the public this evening who've come along to talk about the annual business plan. It is great to hear from our community, and particularly with a number of our representatives this evening that had issues that not just were pertinent to the plan, but actually felt comfortable enough to come and raise them with their council. So we thank all of our representatives tonight. It can be a daunting process, and one that is not common for many people, but it was great to hear some different views from right across the city this evening. As we have now passed our 1 hour and it's 8:02, I'll do one final call, as we are required to keep the meeting open for at least 1 hour. So under section 123 of the Local Government Act, we have a public hearing for the draft annual business plan. Are there any residents wishing to make a representation or deputation this evening? If there are, can you please come forward? As there are none, I will close the public hearing section for the 2022-2023 annual business plan relevant to section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 at 8:03 p.m. Councillors, we will move on to item 17, confidential matters, which is the committee report. Before we go into this item, with leave of the meeting, as I have declared an interest in the rate rebate report and there is no deputy mayor this evening, with leave, does someone wish to nominate somebody to chair the next item of the meeting? We don't need to have a full-on ballot. If someone just wishes to just nominate someone and it was accepted by the council, then we'll be happy with that. Councillor Baker?
Councillor Marsh.
Does that find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Norris. Councillor Marsh, you happy to do that? I will put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried, and ask if Councillor Marsh can take the chair.
All right, thank you. So we're moving to 17.1, which is the rate rebate on page 60. We've got a staff recommendation. I'm going to put that forward. Would anyone like to support the... We've got Councillor Onyazan. Would you like to speak to it all? We've got a seconder.
Second.
We've got Councillor Baker. Is there anyone that would like to speak to it? If not, we'll put that staff recommendation forward. Those for? Those against?
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth this winter.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500. Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day, state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, Workshops, networking and training for young kids right through to adults and the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Did you know you can view your rates notice online at Playford Online Services? Simply register for an online account by visiting our website at playford.sa.gov.au and searching Playford Online Services. Once you've registered, you can request to have your rates notice delivered to your device or computer.
Prefer to watch and learn? We have created some simple videos to show you how to register for an account, view your rates notices and set up direct debit. Simply search for Playford Online Services via the Playford website for more information. That website again, playford.sa.gov.au.
All right, we'll now ask for staff to open the doors, please.
Okay, councillors, we now move to item 17.2. I note Councillor Smallwood-Smith, who's declared her interest and is leaving the room, which is the Code of Conduct matter. Attachments on page 64. So, councillors, pursuant to section 92 of the Local Government Act 1999, an order is made that the public be excluded from attendance under section 93A of the Local Government Act. Does somebody wish to move that way? Moved by Councillor Halls. Does it find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Stroud. Does the mover and seconder wish to speak? If not, then I will put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth this winter.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500. Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the City of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day, state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops, networking and training for young kids right through to adults and the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Did you know you can view your rates notice online at Playford Online Services? Simply register for an online account by visiting our website at playford.sa.gov.au and searching Playford Online Services. Once you've registered, you can request to have your rates notice delivered to your device or computer.
Prefer to watch and learn? We have created some simple videos to show you how to register for an account, view your rates notices and set up direct debit. Simply search for Playford Online Services via the Playford website for more information. That website again, playford.sa.gov.au. Are you building a house or doing some renovations that require planning approval? The way you apply for planning approval has changed, along with some of the rules of the Planning and Design Code. South Australia's new planning system covering the entire state was implemented on the 19th of March this year. So to find out more, visit plan.sa.gov.au.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment, it's the right thing to do, and it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/waste. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you. Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Is it time to do a big clean-up around the house? We can help get rid of your unwanted items with a hard waste collection. You can book Norma to pick it up from your front yard, up to 2 times per financial year.
To make a booking, call Norma on 8259 2100.
The new Myplayford Mobile App is here. You can now stay up to date with the latest council news and info, set bin reminders, make online payments and send through your customer requests, all in one place and at the touch of a button.
Download the free Myplayford app today for your iPhone or Android device.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our fortnightly e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people. Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth this winter.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500. Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day, state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops, networking and training for young kids right through to adults and the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Did you know you can view your rates notice online at Playford Online Services? Simply register for an online account by visiting our website at playford.sa.gov.au and searching Playford Online Services. Once you've registered, you can request to have your rates notice delivered to your device or computer.
Prefer to watch and learn? We have created some simple videos to show you how to register for an account, view your rates notices and set up direct debit. Simply search for Playford Online Services via the Playford website for more information. That website again, playford.sa.gov.au. Are you building a house or doing some renovations that require planning approval? the way you apply for planning approval has changed, along with some of the rules of the Planning and Design Code. South Australia's new planning system covering the entire state was implemented on the 19th of March this year. So to find out more, visit plan.sa.gov.au.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment, it's the right thing to do, and it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/waste. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you. Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Is it time to do a big clean-up around the house? We can help get rid of your unwanted items with a hard waste collection. You can book Norma to pick it up from your front yard, up to 2 times per financial year.
To make a booking, call Norma on 8259 2100.
The new Myplayford Mobile App is here. You can now stay up to date with the latest council news and info, set bin reminders, make online payments and send through your customer requests, all in one place and at the touch of a button.
Download the free Myplayford app today for your iPhone or Android device.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our fortnightly e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people. Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth this winter.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500. Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day, state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops, networking and training for young kids right through to adults and the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Did you know you can view your rates notice online at Playford Online Services? Simply register for an online account by visiting our website at playford.sa.gov.au and searching Playford Online Services. Once you've registered, you can request to have your rates notice delivered to your device or computer.
Prefer to watch and learn? We have created some simple videos to show you how to register for an account, view your rates notices and set up direct debit. simply search for Playford Online Services via the Playford website for more information. That website again, playford.sa.gov.au.
All right, councillors, we resume our meeting. We're back online. There's no other items, so I will close the meeting at 8:21 p.m. and thank you for your attendance.